Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. Hopefully, we are going to gather in a few minutes. I'll put the music on and then let's start. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, people are here. I know it's Canada Day in Canada that we celebrate on Monday. So, for those of you who don't know, it's July the 1st. So, Canada is in a sign of Cancer, and so is the US. They are celebrating their Independence Day, the 4th of July. It's a big firework thing. So, I don't know how many people will be here today. And hello, Silly Jane. And depending on that, depends on how much of a readings will I do. I really want to start with saying that I'm changing my attitude and my approach to this because this takes so much time and effort. I cannot even tell you, like, I really need to prepare myself and do it. And even when I do it without editing, it's draining, right? This is like really something that I'm trying to do for the others. So when, I get weirdos and bullies, it's really kind of like it feels depleted, kind of like it really gives you that really, really bad feeling. Hard to describe, but like when you're trying to eagerly do something for somebody and then tell you, well, this is shit, right? It's kind of like, whoa, I don't know if I really want to do that. So if this is shit for you guys, then great. I'm going to reclaim my time, and you can try to get that back by clicking and liking and sharing. I'll be reading only 11 signs from now on. I was reading Libra and Gemini, and the comments that I was receiving were disgusting. I have deleted them, but from demanding, well, you didn't subtitle it, I'm just watching with subtitles, and to, you need to get your English straight. Guys, they're like other readers. Please go and make somebody else happy with that happy attitude. But I was really thinking even pulling Libra and Gemini as a result of that. It's not fair because of one or two people, but I will be doing that in the future. And there's always Tyler's Tarot, which is the lowest of the low, if you really want to go for it. So feel free to do that. That is that negativity and name calling. But I don't call you guys names, and if you do call me name, I will call you back, and not in a way that is really direct and swearing at you like that some people do here, but rather than just simply removing things like a child. You don't get this toy. So there is Cancer left for my Is Your Ex Coming Back, and had a devastating low amount of clicks. So I will read it this time because the rules are introduced after. But in the future, if you guys have the least amount of clicks, or if there is like some kind of belligerence happening, then I'm just not going to read this sign anymore, because I can save my time. It's a very short summer in Canada and I want to use it. So what I'll be doing today, and where is my list, I'll be doing this in the order of where is it, in the order how high you guys have been having your readings. So Leo, for some reason, is just deciding to be freaking first, and it's like, nope, nobody comes, I'm Leo, and it is just like freaking amazing what they're doing, clicking and helping and supporting, and the very least I can do is just to pay you back in the same way. So let's start. Happy birthdays to Cancers, guys. Happy birthday to Canada, happy birthday to the US. But we are starting in the order of that, and I don't know if I should read the 12th sign. We will see about Cancers. So guys, it's your birthday, most likely I will, but just so you know, for every sign I'm going to state the same thing. So just to let you know that this is what's going to be happening in the future, so the rules are very clear. So Leo, you have Son of Swords. It's just like a lump just jumped at me. That was like really weird. You have the High Priestess, Ace of Cups. There are like some kind of secrets over here, guys, in your world. Son of Swords is like really interesting. It's kind of like a piercing quality. And also you have Daughter of Swords. You have another Ace, Ace of Pentacles. There is Karma card here, Justice. There's another Karma card, the World, and here is the Hermit. Now, I was looking for 3 cards and I got 8, and it just goes to show that when you're nice to people, karma rewards you in a kind of like really nice way. So let's go with this entire reading here, guys. So Son of Swords is really the card that usually talks about directness. It also talks about somebody who is not truly well versed. Hello Hungary, Agnes. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But you see, it will be like a child, Mommy, I want that, like somebody who is still not filtering things, and who is still not able to kind of like figure out like what is the best way to package in order to tell a story. It's just like a whole bunch of words are coming through it. So this really tells me there's like something undefined. At this stage is kind of getting more defined. As you can see, there's like this piercing quality of this pretty owl. I love owls for some reason. I don't know why. Owls and eagles, really, from the bird kind of like thing. So Daughter of Swords is kind of like getting, and it would be like that proverbial, I'm probably not holding this properly, proverbial Knight of Swords over here. And this is really talking about, okay, the idea is there. It might be a little bit half-baked, but this is also like for people who really want to go somewhere really fast. So how do they do that? Like, let me just try to zoom out a little bit if I even can. It's really weird, like that my regular camera and the camera for the broadcast does not react the same way, and it's really hard for me to set it up. Here I tried. So this is really talking over here about somebody who is going in a certain direction. This energy is really high. And look at this air energy that you really have over here. You also have water energy. So this is almost like you're pulled in 2 different kind of like directions. I think that some of you are feeling that you're on the brink of something new, that you are good morning, Chris, of going in a new direction. I'm reading Leo, guys, so just so you know, maybe I should type it here, that everybody knows. Leo. I didn't type anything. So, come on, mods. Can somebody type that for me? It's really hard for me to do this when I'm reading. Leon, I put Leon. So this karma card over here combined with Ace. Look at this. We have 1, 1, 1, 1. So there is like this kind of like shift, and it's almost like going to be a spiritual shift for you, because even though this is a Roman number 2, it does look like 11 as well when you kind of like look at it. So the shift over here, I really think that you're going to be starting to think in a different way. You're going to look at people and at things in a different way. Almost looks like you guys have found some newfound wisdom. There is like a new direction where you are heading, how you are getting there, right? The Hermit is kind of like that ultimate understanding of yourself, wisdom. It's like when you don't rely on the other people. You, like, you know, sometimes we just like to get a feedback from people. That feedback sometimes goes way too far and becomes gossip. But this is like, look, you know, I know who I am. It's looking inward for your own truth and your own wisdom. You know, you cannot blame anybody for things that you do, but this is kind of like being calm and reflective and not allowing that outside world to distract you. Like, there are like these messages that you're holding within, and those messages are going to shift you in a completely new direction, guys. This is to celebrate when you get the Justice card over here. That means that some decisions, something that you have been doing along the path, were the good ones, right? And your reality, your present, and we see this present over here, it's kind of like still didn't shift entirely. The world has to be on the other side. So it did come reversed, right? So this really tells me that there's like still something that is holding certain things on. I don't know if you had some kind of like secrets in your life, or if somebody's holding a secret, or something was like almost like feeling, something felt almost like piercing when kind of like certain secret was revealed, or maybe living with it was really, really difficult. But these two cards, oh my gosh, I love this combination. Ace of Pentacles and Ace of Cups, I can say bravo. That is something that kind of like takes you in a wonderful love relationship, guys. So if you are already in a relationship, it's going to be almost like you're going to give yourself a pat on the shoulder about certain things that are going well. Maybe you want to take it to the next stage, and in the next phase it might not be there. This also can indicate that it's going to get very serious. If you guys are not in a relationship, then if you want to be, this would be a really good time to look for one, because you're going to find variety of people. That variety of people will be from these verbally incoherent to mysterious types that you're going to meet. I also feel that possibly earth sign or possibly air sign will be really coming to you this time around, and they might be absolutely the right one for you. This kind of like really shows this combination, that's the seed that is going to grow, that is going to be amazing, that is going to go somewhere, because ones are the beginning and the world is everything. So everything is here. It's almost like you have a new heart, and this new heart is like so healthy and so alive that maybe came at a big price that you really had to, because these two majors, a 2 and a 9, are also making it 11. Maybe you really had to make it into understanding of yourself, because these two cards are also talking about being pulled to yourself. That doesn't mean that you were sitting at home. That doesn't mean that you are not sociable. It really means that maybe you are not as open as you are. You know, it's really nice to be open. It's really nice to be transparent. It's really nothing more beautiful than wearing your heart on your sleeve. But some people are very predatory, and they are looking for that kind of like vulnerability to either use gossip or either use, you know, anything they can find against you. And that's in a sense a compliment, because obviously they are threatened by you, and besides being miserable, to be able to be willing to do that. But this is really telling me that, you know, like there's like something that you have paid a big price. When the Justice card shows up, this is resolving something karmic. So it almost looks like there are two things that you're resolving and you're moving in a new direction, but one of them is still in the process. One of them is still going to kind of like spill over and continue with that. Also keep in mind, guys, that we are going through Mercury retrograde. We are in a shadow right now, and I believe that is really important for us to understand, that certain things that haven't been finished from the past can actually come back to the fore, and we should be dealing with them. It's actually very important that we address them. I want to check the World card here, and for those of you who are here, just new rules, guys. I'll be saying this in front of every sign. Leo is being read first because Leo just cherished me and honored me in the last couple of monthly readings. And this is like my way of saying thank you. And even though all of you are just children to me, all of you are equal, but some bad children maybe kind of like need to kind of like work up and give me more clicks. So please, guys, like this reading, and that's all I'm asking. And kind of, let's see this World card. No, I guess I'm supposed to take this in the different direction, in the other direction. Let's do it this way. How about this? So what is for the World card coming through? Wow, that is really interesting. The Lover and Misfortune and Priest. Do you guys have somebody from the past who you have been married to that was just a simple, pure disaster? Or, you know, they're like still leftovers of something that really didn't sit well with you. I just really cannot, like, describe this any other way. Lover card, of course, it would really talk about this introduction of a new lover. But it also maybe it's coming as a warning. This Misfortune card is really not a good card to get. A Misfortune is like a Tower card in tarot, but it's actually much worse, because in tarot card, people are jumping over the tower and eventually going to hit the ocean and most likely be alive. In this part of card, like, we do see some people jumping off, but some of people are dying inside. And this really talks about this like quiet desperation which we sometimes have when we are with another person. It's a very negative card. It's about disgrace and falling from grace. Maybe you feel that somebody embarrassed you. You know, when you embarrass a kitty, you have to pretend that like she was not embarrassed. Like Safi is very clumsy, just like her mommy. And when she just tries to elegantly jumps on something and then she falls down, I have to pretend nothing happened, and so does she. That's kind of interesting. But in human life, this is a little bit harder to do that, right? Because this is really talking about some serious problem that you probably had. And it could have been about loss of love, or job, or a failure to get your business going, but that was like some kind of like really grave consequences over here. Also, you need to understand that whatever it was happening, that was a lost cause, right? That is something that was unrecoverable and irreparable loss. It's when they call it like cut a cord, cut your losses and move forward. This is like what this is talking about, right? So that was like some huge rift, whether in a relationship or business or in a life that you basically had. And Priest card is also very interesting, right? But Priest is like rules, like what kind of rules you really want to obey. So let's kind of like work toward that. Like, as I said, this actually can indicate divorce or separation or great difficulty. So it's really important to kind of like understand how to deal with that. And I really think this is relating to this lover. It's relating to somebody who has been extremely meaningful for you. So maybe these sharp words, maybe sharp attitudes. Sometimes words don't have to be told. Because, you know, like sometimes people tell you I love you, but they do something really crappy that kind of like really comes back to really hurt you. Oh, I love you, I want to see you, I'll call you tomorrow, and then never call you. That can actually really hurt even more, wouldn't you agree? So Priest also is not necessarily you know, kind of like the clear card, because it's very much like justice. It kind of like could actually be called a lawyer in this particular deck, right? It's a neutral card and it talks about a higher power. Maybe you have been dealing with somebody, maybe you really wanted this, but it was not in your best interest. Your higher power stepped in and was like holding you back and stepped on the brakes big times. Maybe you felt that anything you were doing, like, it was just basically exploding in your face, kind of a thing. And this is really a card that comes through and that reminds us about examining our own consciousness and our own actions, our personal responsibility of all these actions and thoughts and words, right? So maybe we have seen, maybe you guys have experienced something on your own skin, what you really wouldn't want to give it to somebody else, right? So this is, to me, really talking about you looking in the past in order to move forward. It's going to be really, really interesting week. And I really think that in this week, you're going to have some time on your own, and you're going to make an honest assessment of your recent actions and thoughts and how you felt. Also be very careful that you do not absorb certain things, even if it was your fault. Then it is really time to really let go, because this is saying it is time to let go, and this is that hesitancy. There's like still something holding you to the past that really needs to be released. Good morning, Andy. How are you? You guys have something that is called long weekend. So this is all Leo. So the next sign is going to be Sagittarius. Sagittarius was also kind to me. So you see, fire signs are very action oriented. They were just going to click. Interestingly enough, air signs, my buddies, no, they simply poo-pooed the readings lately. So, oh well, so be it. If we don't connect, we don't connect. What can I do? So the next one is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, 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 Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, as I said in the reading, like, I mean, the more clicks are going to get you readings faster, and that's going to be a new rule. And the 12th sign is not going to get the reading at all, and that's how it's going to be. As well as could be some consequences for extreme negativity, as it was yesterday for Gemini and Libra. It's kind of like really sucks, you know, when, you know, you come home and you go, you know what, should I just relax and watch a movie, or should I just do this? And then you do this, and then people kind of crap on you, and like, yeah, you know, movie seems to be a good option. So Sagittarius, you're getting more cards as well, being on the top tree. So you have the Devil. Look at this. You have complete darkness. 10 of Wands over here. You have 7 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords. This is a lovely card. And you have Temperance, which is your card. So I don't know if this is really talking about somebody who is a Caspi, because Temperance and Devil, it actually describes that period. And what is this? Like, my kitty cat moved the tripod. It kind of describes this period in December, between December 20th to 25th. It's kind of like when we are moving toward the winter equinox, when we're moving toward this darkness. So whatever you're doing right now is going to start coming back in that period of time, which is going to be really interesting. It's going to be something to build on, something to work on, because this is a really promising card, and this is really talking about something just. Honestly, can also indicate about something from the past coming back. So this week is going to give you a little flavor about that, right? When the Devil card shows up, with Devil, we are talking about different addictions. We are talking with usually exes coming back. Usually we think about exes. We kind of like want to foster some connection, and that can mean just going on Facebook and digging the old friends, the school friends, and, oh, how are you doing? Just like sort of like that past kind of like kicks in there, right? The Devil is ruled by Hi Kylie, by Saturn, and Saturn is like that strict ruler, right? And it has to be this way. It's kind of very rigid, but it's also telling us that the problems that kind of like sometimes constrain us, and sometimes we live all our lives, no, this is the way it is, I'm poor, and I'm not going to kind of like try to, like, I mean, branch out. and you kind of like stuck in that illusion. You never kind of like learned that lesson. This is really telling us that there is like some kind of illusion over here that is really going on. So it is time to ask yourself, what is really that is holding you back, and why? And are you really truly helpless to change the situation? Be very careful of being very materialistic, because this also could have been a part that it was holding you to a situation that maybe was not in your best benefit. Something is really going to be happening. You have a 14, you have a 15, and you also have a 16, which is a tower. Like something is brewing, and almost like, you know, volcano, you can hear just a puff, you can see this puff of smokes initially, and you can see it for a while, then it'll go bleh, like, right, that's kind of like where explosion comes. So this is going to be almost like quiet before the storm, because temperance appears always in a reading, especially when it comes with Father of Swords or King of Swords, when it's really need for balance. They're like some basically opposing areas of your life. Maybe you love and hate somebody at the same time, right? It usually happens with our partners, especially if we have been with them for a while. Just like, look, I don't like how you eat your toast. It's kind of really weird that people usually break up on the most simplest of things, and they really don't. They just sort of like have that, like, I mean, straw that broke the camel's back kind of a thing, right? So you need to really examine yourself. You're being asked to look at things that are not in harmony in your life. So this is also talking about the life purpose. It really feels to me, guys, that there was something in the past. There was somebody in the past. Maybe there was an extra person over here. Maybe you're holding a secret. Maybe you have been in a really dark. Maybe you couldn't get out of the darkness. But you're getting a little bit of solution here. It's just like saying, put one foot in front of another. This Six of Pentacles is also the card of generosity. It's also the card of understanding. And I really think there are some decisions that have been made over here were based on you feeling that you need to be just in a situation, but you haven't been just in a situation. It looks like the things have been hidden. They haven't been transparent. And now it is really time to make it clear. Whenever Father of Swords involves itself in a reading, it's like, just think about a guy who is sitting always on the sidelines. He is not a part of the in crowd. He's not the part of the geeks either. He's just on his own. And whenever you approach him, you feel very strange reverence. You feel, no matter how old this person is, that you have to be somehow behaving yourself really well. So you always talk to this person with a great respect. And you also always have trust that this person is going to be just and is going to tell you the truth, no matter how much it hurts. Especially when it hurts, because this person is going to feel you really need to hear it. So there is like that kind of like quality that is coming in here, whether or not you are going to kind of like start examining it, or somebody is going to kind of like bring it to you. It's going to be very, very important. So keep that in mind, guys. I want to see this like 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands have multitude of things, but always I'm looking for the major arcanas, because you have the 16, because this tower is coming. It's almost like you're not going to be given an option. You will have to do it. You have to do things, or else the tower is going to shake you up. You're going to really have to start rebuilding yourself. Maybe you simply have enough. Maybe you really wanted to help somebody. Maybe you really wanted to work something out. And now you're feeling just like I felt last night. Like, I mean, oh my gosh, I just go out of my way for these people, and nothing I do is rewarded. So maybe you're feeling, oh my gosh, I just cannot do this to me. I cannot do it to the others. It almost looks like you are here and you're taking care of your financial priorities, but you're getting to the point of saying, enough. It's not enough, and I just cannot do it. I don't want to do it. but at the same time, you're almost doing this in a very mature way because you're trying to reconcile these differences. And this could also be that there's the appearance of an ex and somebody wants to tempt you, or somebody will really literally rock your world, because this is lots of stress. I really have to tell you, but I really think the stress is going to be resolved in if you follow your highest order, if you follow logical solution, and that logical solution also has to be fair. Not fair how you see it, but fair how they see it, and that is the key. So that's going to be really interesting. Actually, I'm going to clarify that 10 of Wands. I do have a sort of a sun. We're supposed to have a really good sunny weekend, but Andy, I really have to tell you, like, I'm even considering moving to the East Coast because Toronto is becoming really hot city. And I don't know, like, I know that Americans are here thinking that we are Eskimos, but Toronto is like in a heat wave. We are like in the 90, I don't even know Fahrenheit, but I would assume the temperature 29 degrees would be probably 88 or 90, something like that. And it's supposed to be 100 to 102, and to me this is way too much. I don't like to spend my summers indoors with air conditioning, especially I can't with a puppy. So I was thinking East Coast a little bit tiny, kind of like better. Well, you never know. I was thinking about Nova Scotia, so we will see. That's where my dad is from. But I also like the advantages that Toronto has. And I don't know how many of you guys have been in Toronto. I invite you here. It's a very peaceful town. Canadians are very polite. They'll help you with directions, with advice, with anything. Also, we have like so many neighborhoods, and these neighborhoods, each of them is different nations, so you can visit this nation and you don't have all this violence and poverty that you will have to do traveling. So it's kind of like nice to explore all this kind of like different foods and stuff, and that's what I would really miss about Toronto. So this 10 of Wands, so we having servant, and we have a priest, and we have consolation. Literally, if you really look at it, like, what serves me well? You're having this priest, which is also Father of Swords or Justice. It kind of like would work the same way. It could have been that you guys submitted yourself to the will of the others. Maybe you did have your time of reckoning of some kind of like situation that really needed to happen. Consolation is a really interesting card, right? For me, it's really hard to understand, but what do we see? We see a man sitting on a terrace, right? And this terrace has a beautiful view. We can only dream that we have a house kind of like situated like this view of the lake and the boat, right? And then he kind of like is getting surprised by this angel. An angel is kind of like bearing a twig, and there is like a bag of coins over here. So it's almost like the sudden consolation kind of delivered by this angel is, you know, symbolizing that kind of unexpected gift that is freely given. It's like really something that we didn't hope for, because this is also the tree that is bearing fruits. So like these two cards, I think really coming through over here, right? So this can be recognition. Maybe somebody who casted you away, or you cast them away for that reason. It can go both ways. Well, finally give you the credit that you deserve. You kind of like forgotten about it. You don't care about it. It means really nothing to you at this stage. But when you hear it, it's going to change your attitude. It's almost like when you're validated, it feels really different, right? And you kind of like really, really want to go that, because the service card is also very interesting. Pardon me, the servant card. There is also another card, which is the service. And this is really talking about respect. And it could be somebody who is very, I don't know, comforting. Like, I mean, it could be also presence of a mother or a lover or a sister or wife or a friend. This is clearly some influential woman or some woman who maybe had some kind of like legal reasons to be in this. So keep in mind that this is the card of loyalty. This is a card of respect, and there's like a card of collaboration. So it's going to, I mean, you're like born with this Jupiter, like, I mean, governing over you, which is basically a planet of luck. And even though, like, most of you scratching your heads, okay, so where is my luck? Well, this week there is here, but you will really have to look deep in your bag of darkness and really kind of like really face your own demons in order to make it work. So be careful of temptations, guys, because it almost like sounds to me you have been dealing with this person already, and for some reason there's like something that you really didn't let go, and or they didn't let you go, because there is like this connection, the pull is still there, but something also ended up in well, let's not say violent, but not in the best possible way. It has been a very, very bad break or bad divorce. So there's like something that really needs to be like seen and looked. Kylie, this is, I'm using the Wild Unknown Tarot, and I'm using Gypsy cards or Vera Sibilla. So yeah, I really like this card. It feels like it has this like soft coating. It really feels like you have a material in your hands. So, well, thanks, Andy. Well, New Brunswick, right? That's where you're from, I believe. Is also very, very interesting over here. So I think it's really getting developed in the eastern part over there. I think, what's his name? Ethan Hawke. He lives somewhere there as well. I saw an interview where he said, oh, Canadians are so much fun, and they're organizing the recyclables. Kind of like they're impressed with us. We are taking care of our environment. So thank you, Sagittarius. I really want to thank you one more time for lots of clicks and shares, and it was my pleasure to kind of like do these readings for you. So simple is going to be, you know, reading by reward. The third sign that did really well and hope kind of like really clicked was Pisces. So let's go with Pisces. Hello, Colorado Springs. Hello. That must be boiling over there. So I'm complaining here from Toronto, and these people are in true heat. Okay, so let's see. So what is this? Like, we're going to start with California fires soon. This global weather change is not that much fun. And I thought, it's really not that bad. I live in Toronto, so it's going to become, you know, Florida. Like, silly me. Like, winters are brutal. Like, this winter was so brutal that so many trees have died. I have never seen that before. And summers are just spectacularly hot. So that's not much fun. So Pisces. My dear Pisces, and thank you very much for clicking. So as I said to all these other signs, you know, it's going to be, click is going to get your reading faster. And also the first three, I'm going to go in really lots of depth, and even with clarifiers, kind of like to top it off. So it's kind of like really, really good reward for everything. So you have Father of Pentacles, you have Daughter of Wands, you have Temperance, you have the Eight of Pentacles, Six of Cups reversed, and Ten of Swords reversed. There is a theme over here that is really talking about finances, and you need to work on securing something. There are also issues that are coming from the past, and I don't know if you guys dealing with a fire sign or with an earth sign for some kind of like reason over here, or this is simply talking about that there is like action needed in your life that includes money, that involves money, and you need to secure it, and somehow you're feeling, well, I don't know if this is growing, and I don't know if I did a proper thing all about that. It is really rather strange how this is all kind of like looking into this. This Daughter of Wands, and look at that snake that is kind of like swirled around that, and it's in the sign of 8. So this is not a typical kind of like infinity in this particular card. A Daughter of Wands would be that energy of somebody who is very enthusiastic, somebody who really wants to kind of like push things in a new direction, where you're almost like are ready to activate yourself. So that's proverbial Page of Wands, right? So Page of Wands is also talking about travel and creativity, and I can see that here. There's like some kind of enthusiasm about the things coming through. And This is really simply talking about patience and talking about building and rebuilding yourself and continuously kind of like reinventing yourself in new direction to finally kind of like receive this ultimate whatever reward or goal, if you want to call it, right? It's also about focus. It's about craftsmanship, right? You have to admire, like, I mean, what spiders do, like a tiny little bug, and creating this nest and creating, I say, it's my home, but it's also my business at the same time, because I need to feed myself, so the food really has to come here, right? It's also about concentration. You're going to have unbelievable focus toward what you really need. You're going to, there's like something connecting to your past that has been really, really hurtful over here, but it almost looks like you're raising above that. It looks like, well, wait a minute, certain things just kind of like ended in a horrible, horrible way. Look at this. This is a tree with enormously huge root structure where there's like something growing here on the top, and both sides are really healthy. Both sides are really to be nourished. It's almost like they are mirroring each other. But in this particular case, it's telling me there are like some kind of like nostalgia. There's some kind of like memories of the past that at one point will be really overwhelming to you. Keep in mind your Pisces, your air sign, your water sign. Things at times for you, again, this is where you're really close to, and people don't understand it, to Aquarians, because we Aquarians are holding this torch and trying to, we have to find this lesson of not belonging to one person but belonging to everybody. You have already learned that lesson, and for you is that whole concept, you're really taking it even to the higher level. This kind of like warns me a little bit about being naive and maybe being abused and maybe being disappointed over certain things that you really thought that you could have positioned yourself properly, because the Ten of Swords is that ultimate card. Look at him. This Bizone really didn't really end completely well in the situation, but it has been reversed. So this is really telling me wherever it was burdening you, whatever it was really heavy hearted over here, it's getting resolved. There is like this renewal, there is like this hope, there is like this acceptance, there is recovery, guys. And it can be recovery of money, it could be recovery of this essence of who you are. You're pushing yourself in a new state, and it almost looks like you have been pulled and pushed in so many different directions over here, and it was really a time where you really didn't think you'll be able to continue going. But the lesson here is just one step at a time. You need to know where you're going, but all you can do is one step at a time. Rome was not built in a day. Just keep going. Everything will really, really work out. Just keep that in mind, guys. What is this? Like, nobody's here talkative today. We have less people because we have holidays in both countries. And we have Australians over here. Kylie, do you have any holidays in July, or this is just typical for us in North America? I want to check these two cards, this Ten of Swords in particular, to see what's going on here. So, what we have here is faithfulness reversed, house, and old woman. Well, simply like faithfulness, as it says, it's clearly a lack of loyalty. And maybe you feel betrayed. Maybe you feel that your contribution to something has been in vain. Maybe you feel that, you know, like some support that you were expecting from somebody really didn't pan out, right? This is kind of like a really interesting card. I don't know if you can see it here. There is a village in the distance over here. And so it's kind of like, why is this dog before the village? Because obviously there is kind of like working dog that is, and this kind of like looks like this alpine dog that is used for rescues, like the Saint Bernard or whatever they call them, right? I really think that breed of dog is like really significant because it's a large working dog, right? So this is really, really important. And just like my tiger, like these dogs always need to be doing something, whether or not tiger needs to carry my backpack or a bowl or a bottle of water. He always kind of like feels it has to be useful. In this particular case, I really think it's about rescue, and I really believe that is kind of like somebody who you really believe is going to come to you, to your aid, and help you, was not there for you. And that kind of like really felt like a betrayal, misplaced trust, or you know, somebody really ignored their responsibility. So the obstacle was like how to resolve that, how to be supported by others, how to be positive in spite of everything. And I really think you're resolving this very nicely. You're either in a therapy or getting advice from an old woman. Well, I would qualify there, not old but oldish, moving into the kind of that category. But you know, it's sometimes it's almost like blissful that we find this out, don't you think? It hurts, but to realize this, it's really, really important. I also have to tell you that whatever is going to be happening this week, it's going to probably come back in August. I would say August 8th to August 14th is going to be something that, if you really look back, is going to be related to this week. So make positive decisions, because you really need to kind of like rebalance yourself and figure out who are your friends and who are your enemies. So that was Pisces, and the next one is Aquarius. Hi Steve, how are you? How's everybody? So Aquarians, do we have any Aquarians over here? Aquarians. Feeling fine. Aquarians. Okay, so the rest is going to go a little bit faster, with a little bit less cards. Aquarius. Territory Day, July 1st, but no holiday. Okay, so we are like, you're like Canada, like July 1st is celebrated. Aquarius, what is it you're wondering? What kind of like path you're wondering to take? Aquarius, whoa, 2, 1. Look at this fire. Oh my gosh, is this kind of like going to be too many cookies, too much celebration over here? It's really like, I mean, 3, 2, 1, 0, go. But then where we are going into this direction that can be really messy. The devil also talks about excess entering our life. The devil can talk about overindulgence, like food, drugs, alcohol. And it's going to be something that it can have a lasting consequences. So it doesn't have to be either, because this is a weekly reading after all. I really think also it could be a week of jealousy. It could be a week of holding grudges of kind of things, but it also could be very rewarding week at the same time. So, you know, I'm sorry to say this, guys, you know, I know that we all want to have a perfect mate and somebody who is absolutely lovely. This is not a person who is that, but this is the person who is going to be so much fun in bed. So, you know what they say, if you're hungry, eat. I don't know what can I tell you, like, have fun. Like, this is very kind of like sexual combination. This is also combination that is saying, well, this is not going anywhere. So as long as you're not having your head in kind of like clouds, I don't know what to tell you. This is really going to be absolutely amazing thing going forward. So maybe you're not going to be sure if you really should go into that, shouldn't go into that. You will go into that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be too much, and it's going to break over your head, but at the same time, think about it as a kind of like holiday fling, and that's all there is. I want to check this devil card over here. Devil. So why is the devil here for Aquarians? Right? Something shows up, something that was not expected, and it just like look like you were showered with gifts. Things will be really, really working out. It almost looks like one of those situations where you win lottery and you're like so happy, you're outside of yourself. Like, I mean, okay, yeah, short of like, well, I did buy a ticket, but I never win anything, kind of a thing, right? And then something happens, you're like amazed and amused, and maybe you are gifting others, but that is actually turning out into freaking disaster. So just, that's a word of caution. Be very careful, because they're kind of like has these underlying things that look, ultimately this is not good for you. And if you're passing in the stage, interestingly also I have this fire motive, and this is fire and fire. Like, I have lots of fire, lots and lots and lots of fire. And I don't know why, but this is really coming to me right now, that maybe you should also watch, if you make sure you have a fire insurance, make sure that you're like turning all your stuff off, whether or not you're in this hot climate or cold climate, right? The misfortune card can really talk about having those accidents, and those accidents can really kind of like explode in your face, right? This person, make sure these are not big high hopes for this. If somebody whose ex is coming back in your life and they're trying to woo you and romance you and do all this stuff, they're not here to stay. And yes, it's going to be same old, but in the meantime you can have lots of fun if this is what you want to have. So Aquarius, again, thanks for clicking and liking and sharing and subscribing. Just so you know, the future readings will be based on that. The people who have most comments and clicks and likes and those signs will be read first. The 12 sign, the one that has the least of them, will not be read at all. So let's go with that. So the number 5 is Virgo. Virgo. Air and fire go well, but sometimes can cause damage to each other. You're right, Steve. And you think about the steam, right? It's air and fire. Air has this quality that can actually really push somebody out of their way, and create cataclysmical problems, and also even removing the air. So air almost like has this dominance, because we cannot live without air. We kind of can live without fire, right? But it wouldn't be fun. Each element has its own strengths and weaknesses. So, but some combinations are good. So air and fire really need to learn how to balance each other. So let's see, Virgos. Oh my gosh, I'm realizing I had a dream about Virgos, and I'm wondering why is that. Okay, Virgo, you have Ace of Swords, you have Strength, you have Son of Cups, you have Two of Pentacles, and you have Father of Wands here. So Ace of Swords, to me, it's really talking about victory. So keep in mind also, we have like 2 infinity signs in this combination, right? We have it here in Two of Pentacles, but we also have here in the Strength card. Keep in mind also that this is kind of like using this old system. So it is a card number 11 over here. So look, we have 1, 1, 1 over here showing. So whenever I see this kind of divination method, I kind of like use both. I will use Strength and 11 as kind of like explanation over here. I really think, and this would be Virgo. First of all, this is a karma card. There is like something that it feels like, finally I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward in a good direction. There's like still some kind of like hesitancy over here, right? There's lots of fire in your reading. I don't know if you guys dealing with a fire sign over here. It could be Leo, it could be I don't know, Sagittarius. Even the Father of Wands is sometimes also depicted as a Leo. So but Leo also has this quality of generosity, quality of, it's okay, I'm going to cover you, I will be there for you, right? This card is like kind of like raising above everything. It's kind of oh my gosh, that also has an infinity sign here. There is like a loop of history that I really feel over here. You're going to feel really different this week, guys. This infinity really, to me, talks about past lives. it talks about resolving something. If you guys are single and you're looking, then somebody will be arriving in your life that you might even have more than one suitors over here. But somebody will be arriving that you have a past life connection, or it could be just somebody from the past in this life. It's going to be interesting because there are these two people here. There is like some kind of juggling, and this could be different facets of the same person. This could be simply talking about, look, one person is offering you all these roses and all these stories, and it's basically what we are being told how the love should look like, but the other person is all action. Let's do this, like do that. So it almost like it's going to be question to who do you commit and what do you do. And there is like a caveat over here that one person who you might actually even be more interested in this other person. Son of Cups is a very gentle quality where we kind of like really find that somebody's super sweet. They're not necessarily sweet, but they're presenting themselves that way. While this Father of Wands is more like, it can actually come across to some people. I don't know if it's going to come across to you like that way. It's going to be somebody who is maybe just too much. It's just like go, go, go all the time. So if you're a homebody, or if you like more leisurely activities, this person is not going to be very appealing to you, because you're going to say, okay, you're stressing me out. Sometimes you go and sit next to people, like in their backyard, and they stand up and go down all the freaking time because this is kind of like their modus operandi. So that's going to be this person. If you are kind of like that busy bee, kind of like you like to do stuff, then this person is going to be freaking awesome, right? So you see how much it's going to depend on your personality. Now, this butterfly and this like Two of Pentacles, it's really, really intriguing to me. So I really would like to kind of clarify this one, because this is really talking about this transition between the two people, and I just don't really want you to miss your opportunity. I really don't want you to miss this, like such a good thing happening, right? Because this is about balance, and this is about renewal, and it's about change. You guys are going to ask yourself, what is that you really want? What is that you really need from people, right? With the Strength card showing over here, it's kind of like talking about that the true power comes from within. You're not going to look into the people in the same way that you did before. It's more or less going to be kind of like, hey, how do I maybe tame somebody? Maybe how do I really work on this, right? Because it's going to be also some kind of like patience that is going to be really visible in this kind of period. But this Ace of Swords is an extremely powerful card. The reason why I made it one of my karma cards is that this is the entry to the main arcana. It almost looks like you have gods, and then gods decide, okay, so which one of these kind of like lower species I really want to deal with? Let's identify that one. So it's going to be, take me to your world leader kind of a thing. So this is this card, and this is why I made it kind of like the transitional card, right? Because this is really talking about inspiration and clarity and focus, and somebody who says, okay, I can translate God language into kind of like peasant language, and I can do that. So it's almost like you're getting that. And look at this fire. You see, the fire is different. This is kind of like getting this inspirational fire, and this is getting action fire. It's kind of like, okay, I'm getting this. I understand how I should kind of like approach this. So if you guys are in a relationship, it's going to really be a lovely week. If you guys are not in a relationship and you don't want to be in one, then trust me, you're going to start feeling, well, I kind of like miss relationships a bit. And if you are not in a relationship and you do want to be in one, then you're going to have abundance and opportunities, and everybody is going to have something really great to contribute. The person who is kind of like go, 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 go is a very lovely person who might be willing to commit. So keep that in mind. While the other person is going to be very gentle, very sweet, but is going to be not sure what is really going on in which direction. So let me just check this, like two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles. What is your sign, Steve? Well, we didn't really do many signs, and I'm not doing them in order because this time around I'm doing as per clicks. So the more clicks, so sorry, I'm moving this in the wrong way. The more clicks that you guys have for the other readings, the kind of like higher your sign is going to be read. And also the first 3 signs are getting clarifiers and everything. Do that again. How is this possible? And the last sign is not going to be read. I'm going to read all 12 signs in these readings, but not in the major readings. So what is this? We have melancholy, we have thoughts, and we have thief. I don't really know why this is coming through with some kind of negativity, and maybe this is what you're saying to yourself, that maybe you have been overly cautious. Maybe you have been looking for something that maybe doesn't exist. Maybe you've forgotten that your life is, you know, continuing as you're kind of like going through things. And the thief card is really not a good card. The thief card is talking about that you feel something has been stolen to you. But I really don't think this is from any partners over here. I really think this is really more or less internal dialogue that is happening, and saying to yourself that some of you are probably afraid of dating. Some of you are probably afraid of moving and stepping in that arena. And now you're kind of like, as I said, even if you're single and you don't want to date, this is really going to change. For those of you who are in a relationship, maybe you've been going through a rough patch, and now you're going to feel very free, and you're going to feel very much released from all these situations, and will be able to kind of like almost like bask in the sun. So this is really important development, I would say. So whatever kind of like put you down, is not going to be that way anymore. So the next one is Taurus. Hi Barbie, good morning. Good morning. Oh, it was Leo. Yeah. You know, I think, and I don't know if I still have it programmed, that and I don't know if you guys are on the phone or if you're on a computer, but there is like this red bar on the bottom that you can move back and forth even while I'm doing the reading, just to let you know. So the next one is Taurus, and I guess you guys know that I have a new system, that more clicks and more comments, more shares you have, the higher up you guys, you know, will qualify as a sign, and the signs that are 3 on the top are going to be read first with lots of clarifications. The 12th sign is not going to be read. And also there will be some disqualifiers as well, which will be for rudeness. Mind you, I really don't get much, even though last night I really got a plentiful. So I don't know, maybe it was one of those weird times that happened. So you have 4 Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Son of Pentacles, and Daughter of Cups, Taurus. Taurus, this is going to be absolutely lovely week for you. I really don't even know if I really need to go into many details, but first and foremost, you're having these pentacles, so Ace of Pentacles and Son of Pentacles. You're doing things where you feel comfortable. You're doing things in the best possible manner. For you guys, you have this quality that when you believe in something, and we have any Taurus over here, so when Taurus believe in something, nothing stops you. You are not going to kind of like fly there. You're not going to move there like in some kind of like unbelievable speed, but you're going to pace yourself. It's kind of like, you know, that hare and tortoise story. You are going to make sure that you really get there, right? Son of Pentacles or a Page of Pentacles is really talking about opportunity and mastery and discovery. And I really think you're discovering a gentle side of you. Some of you, if you guys are in a relationship, this is really going somewhere. You're actually starting to see, and I really don't need to clarify anything here in your reading, because this is really all clear. This is like talking about going to the next stage, going into some situation where things are going to last, where things are going to be really, really good, right? It's about coupling, it's about pairing. Maybe something new is starting, but this new starting is good. Maybe you have been hesitant being in a relationship for some kind of reason, and this Daughter of Cups, it is like a lovely, lovely energy where, and look at how I love this, like this kind of like whole bunch of rainbow colors showing over here. It's showing you that opening yourself to love can open yourself, you to a completely new dimension. And the dimension is inside of us, right? It's kind of like that generosity and kindness and fluttering of your heart, right? Where you have this confidence and you are happy and content, and there's like this insight, and it's kind of like trust that things will work and I'm going to be good and everything is good. It's going to be just a lovely week, just like that. So plant your seeds, guys. For the business, also could mean like meeting of the minds. Something is going. Your proposals will be met with praise. So yeah, Taurus, is going to be really, really good week for you. So congratulations. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. Thanks for saying hi. And it's a Taurus here, so Michelle is going to be a really nice week. So see, Taurus, kind of like slow and steady. I am working, I'm listening, but I have to pay attention to my work, and it really works really well. So congratulations, Taurus. Next one, Capricorn. Capricorn. So who did we do so far? Let me just recap. We did Leo first. We did Sagittarius second, I think Pisces third. We had Aquarius fourth, Virgo fifth, Taurus sixth, and now working on the seventh, Capricorn. Let's see, Capricorn. 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 What is going on for Capricorn for this week? Woo. We have Five of Pentacles, Father of Cups, and the Tower. Wow, that's a tricky week, and it's a tricky reading to do. I mean, Five of Pentacles, Rose, is losing its petals. Something that doesn't look as shiny as it looked initially. That's the card of people leaving you out, wondering what's going on, not really defining their attitudes, not really clarifying what they want to have and how do they want to have it, right? It's kind of like the card that really talks about instability. So I don't know if you are going to be this Father of Cups or somebody else will be this Father of Cups. Maybe simply these two situations are not even related, because look at these two dark cards. And even this Father of Cups looks like he's going into somewhere, not really sure exactly where, but he kind of like knows he's going to get there. Plus, I love this Father of Cups because he's finally becoming a swan. And this really reminds me of that ugly duckling story that I'm seeing here on the table. You know how ugly duckling was so ugly that, you know, chickens, and I don't know how the story goes, everybody kind of like really made fun of the little thing. But ugly duckling was always admiring these beautiful swans that were kind of like really flying on this beautiful lake. And even though it was attacked and shunned and bullied, at no point kind of like did want to strike back. And at no point did it want to kind of like really agree with the destiny of continuing to be ugly. So it went going from place to place and trying to find possibly different shelter in which, you know, he can find a better way of expressing himself. It lasted for a while, and that confidence got eroded, and that confidence got to the point to say to himself, you know, nobody likes me, and maybe I don't deserve to live. I'm going to kill myself, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to try to fly toward these beautiful birds. So if I have to die, the death is going to be fantastic. As the ugly duckling is like kind of like taking off and realizing, hey, actually I'm flying, I didn't splatter myself. And then all of a sudden he's realizing everybody's looking at him with this kind of like admiration that he has never seen before. What happened in the meantime, that ugly duckling become a swan. And so it's whole the thing, the path kind of like came through. So this is, to me, guys, reminding me that you guys shouldn't put yourself down for one reason or another, because it looks to me that some people want to take you down here, maybe both financially and emotionally. Maybe you need to simply reinvent yourself. You need to realize that all these people along the path who haven't been supportive maybe shouldn't be there around you in the first place. Maybe it felt that you have been isolated, maybe you felt insecure. When the Tower card shows up, it clearly tells us, hey, you know what? There are certain things that you need to really rebuild. Because look at this. This is kind of like cutting the stop, striking this kind of stuff. It's talking about the comfort zone. Talking about we are not going to be there, but it's also going to we need to kind of change, we need to kind of like awake, we need to kind of like it's going to be some kind of realization. So this is ruled by Mars, and so Mars can be, I think it's in Cancer right now, it's going to move to Leo soon. Tower is really showing up when you live in illusion, and the illusion can be self-imposed, like in the story of An Ugly Duckling, or it could be that some other people are trying to constrain you, which I feel it's more of that kind of like sort over here. You need to spread your wings. You need to kind of like keep above this, and if this really means leaving certain people in the dust, so be it, because honestly, it looks to me that somebody's not deserving of you over here in this situation. And by staying in the situation, you're going to always feel like an ugly duckling. You're always going to feel inadequate, no matter how beautiful swan you are. You need to find other people who are like minds, who will kind of like understand where you're coming from, and maybe that you had a long path to get where you are. Now, I want to clarify here because there's lots of things. Look at this. You're having this fortune card, which is amazing. You guys also should play lottery. So it's almost like it feels for me that you are on the brink of some kind of like decision. Because this is so different over here. It could be also talking about very two different levels of Capricorns. The fortune card, when this card shows through, it's almost like make your list, right? Things are going to really be happening for you. It is like, look, it's this lady fortune that, you know, she's looking toward the heavens, right? And she's kind of distributing this kind of goals, and she's distributing this kind of like money over here. This can be dropping on anybody. So almost looks like, you know how sometimes you lose a job and you are like really desperate about this, and you feel, oh my goodness, I have to suddenly change my life and how I spend money and everything. And that kind of like power to thinking immediately kind of like climbs you up. Instead of realizing this is now a new opportunity to make more money, because my previous job was marketing. In marketing, you get laid off every couple of years, and first couple of times was like horrible, and then I said, whoa, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to make more money. So instead of like having that regular increase of 2 or 3 or 5% a year, I was giving myself increases of 10 to 35%. So it's kind of like shifting how you really think and how you really look at it. This is going to clearly lucky period and lucky event. It could be communication of some kind of like sort that can come through. For some of you, it can be a shocking thing that could be also maybe news of pregnancy, maybe news of sale. This could be some kind of like real estate kind of a thing. Make sure it's also insured, because some things can really happen that can feel like, I mean, that certain things slip out of your fingers. But it also feels like that obstacles would kind of like come quickly and leave, as something has to be shaken. It's not going to be, let's say, the week where you're going to just have smooth sailing or status quo. It's going to be believe in yourself and move forward confident in the positive outcome, and it's going to be clearly communicated to you about that. So not bad, Capricorn, I really have to say. The next one will be Aries. And after Aries, I'll have Scorpio. So Aries, my dear Aries, it is like click and get your reading faster. So the more clicks and likes and shares and comments, the sooner you're going to get your reading. Also, the top 3 signs are going to get extra clarifications, and I want to say see the jumpers, all these goody things. So it's kind of like layers. It's kind of like gold, silver, bronze service, kind of like this. I'm looking into this. And 12th sign is not going to be red. How's that? Whoa. What's going on, Aries, here? You're like hoping for the best, and you're getting some disappointment here. Oh my goodness. Why is this happening? This is clearly about hurt. This is clearly about the third person messing in, stepping in. This is really about when you really believe in somebody and something, and they just pull a rug under your feet, and you feel devastated. I really don't like Three of Swords. Way more than Five of Cups. Five of Cups is like when you're really sad, and when you're really bawling your eyes out, you are sad. But this one, you cannot get rid of because it is in your head. It's kind of like a voice going in your head, almost like a voice telling you, oh, you're stupid, how could you do that, kind of a stuff. It's like about the pain and grief and rejection and deception. And I really don't know where it's coming from, so I will need to clarify this, because the other 2 cards are really positive. It almost looks like maybe that others are looking into how you're going to handle certain situation. This could be a third-party situation, clearly, because Father of Swords can actually talk about some kind of legalities that are really involved in all of this. Maybe there was like some really painful breakup, which kind of like it was something you didn't see it coming, because the Temperance card is really talking about reconciling differences. Maybe you were hoping that you could reconcile differences, and instead you have encountered enormous opposition. It's almost like when you're walking, in a park, and you're walking your dog, you're having a great day, and next thing you're seeing like your partner giggling and enjoying themselves, and they're with somebody else. It's just like you freeze. You freeze because you can't even define how you feel. Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you outraged? Like, right, in a regular situation when you're not that triggered, you probably would say something, but in this situation it just comes to you like, like tons of brick just like falling on you. It's kind of like one of those situations that might be happening. This can mean a loss of job, it can mean a loss of partner, it can feel like a really, really big letdown. So it is definitely ouch over here. So I want to see what is hiding there. We see wedding, foe, and waiting. I do feel it's a third person that is messing in your relationship, for those of you who you are in a relationship. And the foe card can talk about having a rival, which could be a different woman. Mostly she describes a woman here, so this is not so much for a man having competition over here. This kind of like signifies that interference in somebody's life. And she is somebody who is out in the open. She's somebody who it's not somebody who you would all of a sudden kind of like see it, right? But it's also coming from somebody that you would not suspect. So let's say, like you have friends supporting you, always have this special friend, you come and you kind of like, tell your heart out. And this person actually is the one who is maybe using your husband or your boyfriend to cheat on. So this is like what I'm really talking about here, because it also can talk about immorality or infidelity. Somebody clearly setting you up over here. You need to recognize this threat and close the door, because this tells me kind of like, it says waiting, but this tells me about melancholy, about, sometimes you're thinking, oh, this person is going to come back, this person is going to apologize, this person is going to do the right thing. I would say don't hold your breath over here, my dear Aries. Somebody is really interfering in things that are none of their business over here. This waiting card is kind of like really interesting because almost looks like this could be even waiting for the answers, and that's why this Father of Swords is kicking in here and saying, look, everything is here before you, everything is before your eyes. Like, this is about opportunity over here, right? I have to tell you, even though summer mid of the week is going to feel really bad, you're going to land on your feet really nicely with a completely new attitude, that you're going in this new found confidence and hope, and something good is coming, right? So no matter how you feel and how bad you feel here because somebody betrayed you, or you have like this false friend, they reveal themselves to you and people tell you who they are. So anticipate good things. Maybe even if you have this much of positivity and you anticipate this person is going to change their ways and come back, but do not rush in opening the doors for them, right? You need to kind of like create this balance, and you need to create these boundaries. Aries. So Scorpio, next one is Scorpio. How many do we have? We still have a few signs left. Scorpio. What is going on this week for Scorpio? You have, wow, Two of Cups and Seven of Swords. Somebody's sleeping with one eye open. Well, Two of Cups is a lovey-dovey week. So, are you having somebody, guys, who... Oh, and the Magician. It could be a start of something new, guys, but it could be also hesitation to move in a new direction. When the Seven of Swords shows up, not so much in this deck, obviously, but this is showing this about this foxy attitude and is alert. Somebody is watching what's happening. This could be you. So this is not as negative as in the other decks, because I usually go per decks. I don't really read universally. I kind of like take in account the deck and what I see. I don't know, it's kind of like freezing on my end, and hopefully you guys can see it over there. So let's talk about the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can sometimes talk about betrayal. In the other decks, it certainly, I would say to you, oh my gosh, watch and run the other way. Well, in this deck, I can really see only some kind of like caution, and maybe somebody's being irresponsible, because I can see something here, a lovey-dovey affair. I can see, look at that. Everything seems to be working out. Everything is going on for the two of you. It's kind of sometimes expectations that we have. Yes? Are you warning Scorpio? This is Scorpio, by the way. So maybe he's hearing this and saying, no way, I'm going to kind of like watch what's going on. He's saying like nothing happens kind of like in his isolation. Two of Cups is really about this beautiful kind of like getting together. Almost like tells me you are really hoping for something, or it's kind of like healthy and partnership and harmony, and there is attraction. But at the same time, what you're not aware that possibly this partner is not really working on your behalf, and they're not looking that as a kind of couplehood. They're more or less looking into that, oh my gosh, I'm to myself, how does this work for me? And not kind of like going into kind of like this merging together, right? The Magician in tarot represents as above, so below. This is the master of these four elements. But it's just like a computer. Wherever put it in, you're going to get some results, but it might not be really what you want, right? So this is like about telling you, no matter what you encounter, even if this person is sneaky, even if this person is underhanded, even if you feel you offer the world and they're like still holding you back and hesitant, and you know, which is kind of like confusing, and as it is, it's telling you, you are actually the one who have the keys to that reality. You can manifest anything that you want over here. You can be creative in the situation. You do have this focus, but you also have a desire to make certain things good, right? And so it's going to be really interesting how you're going to approach the situation, because you see we have the air and we have water, and it's going to be like this water, of course, is like something where you feel very comfortable in the situation, where air, it feels like fish out of water for you. But it almost looks like that you'll have to look at the situation in that way. I don't know, maybe you're dealing with the air sign over here, or another water sign. And it could be like two different influences that are really coming to you. The Magician is also representing Mercury, and Mercury has this like swift changes. So maybe something that hasn't been seen as workable in the past might have seen workable at this stage, because you're going to be very cautious about somebody that you are really extending possibly your love. And this could talk about the old partners. Oh, look at this, the old woman. And to me, always when I see this, it's an old lady. Maybe it's an old partner that is coming back to you, and you're wondering about their motives. You're wondering why they're here. At the same time, maybe they're full of advices and you don't really like this unsolicited kind of like entrance in your life. So you're clearly guarded. Look at this. This is the same thing. Kind of like I'm seeing this guarded attitude. Yeah, you'll be kind of like in a very meditative mood. Contemplation is going to be the word of a day, and you're going to ask yourself, okay, if I can get anything that I want, I need to be beware of what I ask for, because I might get it. So it's almost going to feel a bit different. You're going to not wonder if I can obtain it. You're going to wonder, well, what if I get it? What if I offer this love to someone? Can I see myself sustaining this? Can I see myself going this direction? So this is going to be kind of like that guard and that hesitancy from you. But it almost looks like there is a partner that's going to feel like an old chair, comfy and comfortable, but at the same time, like he's holding his head. We don't hold our head when we kind of like don't have something worrisome to think about it. So it's kind of like scratching your head, wondering how to deal with a certain issue, certain problem. This can also indicate arguments. This can also indicate secrets. So be aware of that. So, good morning, Sally. Keep in mind also that, as I said to the other signs, like the more clicks, the faster you're being read and the bigger reading you get. And less clicks you get last, and the very last sign is not even going to get the reading. So how is that to kind of like be motivated? The next one is Gemini. 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 So let's see what is going on for Geminis for this particular week. Oh my gosh. And this Father of Swords is really coming. So you have the Star, you have Death. The Star has died. And Father of Swords. There were some kind of hopes that you guys were holding over something or somebody, but that is not going to pan out. Like, I mean, it almost looks like what goes up must come down, that I'm seeing over here. It almost like looks like I told you so. This is such a dark reading, as you can tell over here. It's not bad, guys, but it's just like simply almost like time of reckoning over here, time of healing, time of understanding that the life goes on and we need to move on in a certain way. It is really the card of saying you need to transform, but you need to transform in a very organized way if you really wish, right? You need to break habits, old habits, and release certain things and certain attitudes and certain issues, right? This is about endings, but it's also about beginnings. It's about saying certain things cannot continue going on. It is transition into something else. This Father of Swords, I told you, it's about somebody who is standing on a side. It's about intellect and authority and strength and fairness. This is also relating to the air sign, to Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and direction is north. And this is, to me, the card. When I see the star, I think about true north. That's kind of like how I see that. So I don't know, like, I mean, do you have somebody who you kind of like position in your life that you think you're putting them on a pedestal, and maybe, you know, it's kind of like falling through this particular week for some reason? It's going to be simply a time that things need to be reshifted, and that shift is going to be feeling a little bit hurtful, because you did have a really high hopes for that. But then after all, you're going to realize that everything has been done because of kind of like a need for some kind of like fairness. Let me just like see
Why is this death card jumping in here? What's going on? What's going on here? So Gemini, don't forget clicking doctor, soldier, and widower. See, cards don't lie. You guys might not be feeling well. You guys might have health issues, because the star is also about healing. Maybe your approach to health, maybe the doctor didn't give you the medications that you needed, maybe diagnosis was wrong in the situation. It's kind of like really multifaceted card. It's talking about medicine, man or woman, and needs to be trusted advice, but also about projects really not going according to plan, and hence kind of like feeling this hesitation. This is very much both soldier and that kind of like Scorpio. It's going to be lots of stress, guys. You are going to be, keep in mind that you are the sign that is ruled by Mercury, you and Virgo, so you are affected the most, and the third one will be Aquarius, because we are Uranus, which kind of rules Mercury. And so I am seeing this Mercury retrograde really affecting you greatly over here, right? So it is like looking for assurance of some kind, and making sure that almost like you're asking some answers. Well, am I going to die? Kind of a thing. Not necessarily, I mean, that this is that drastic, right? But there is like a need to get out of situation. You need to abandon a road that you're on, and you need to get out of maybe period of inertia. Maybe you need to get off your butt and kind of like do something, right? Because over here, like, we also see something that could talk about somebody who is sensible and genuine, who can really help you, that kind of like giving you this advice in deciding what remedy you really need to resolve a certain problem. But almost looks like to me, and I think this is the main problem, that even though that solution will be presented to you, that you will go like, I don't know about it, just, move. And this is not going to be unsolicited advice. It's going to be advice that you ask and seek for, and you're not going to listen. And that's not going to really end well. I'm really sorry to say, but I also see that this could be passing on someone in this particular time. And it might feel really, really hurtful. It could be also not necessarily passing somebody in your family. It could be a military or officer or young professional, right? That is really somebody who you really knew, or policeman, kind of like a stuff, right? It could be lots of things that are connecting with jealousy, connecting with defensiveness, with loss, right? This card also might have some kind of like positivity in that, because, like, it's going to be complete lack of confidence, that you will really almost like hit the rock bottom. And the positive thing is, like, you cannot go lower anymore. You have to really go up, right? Some relationship, clearly, if this is talking about relationship, was not the right one for you. And now almost like fate is stepping in and putting you on a correct path over here. You guys will be faced with opposition. So you need to try to resolve conflicts before they escalate. So look for those who stand up for you to help you. Don't push them away, because you really at this stage need them, even though they are maybe not the people who you would just like to be stuck on the isolated island. You need to understand who are your allies over here. Sometimes people who kick you the most are actually your best friends, because they tell you hurtful things because they want you to get better. So, not everybody who craps on you is your enemy. Just remember that. So we are going to Libra. So some of you Librans, thank you for horrible comments that you gave me last night. Same as Gemini before. I was really stunned, I have to say, from nice and polite and Polish Libra. It's just really amazing what kind of like came through. But again, not everybody is a jerk. And I know this kind of like could have been a couple of lonely people who It's interesting that the 11 came through over here. You got a whole bundle of cards, but since Libra, I have a new system. A new system is that I'm not going to reward rudeness. I'm not going to reward lack of clicks. So reading is going to be just regular reading, where you get the deluxe reading if you can have more clicks and you qualify in the first top three signs. Also, just keep in mind that the last sign is not going to be read. So somebody who has the least amount of clicks is just not going to get a reading this month. So let's start over here, guys. You have the strength card, but it's 11. So it's actually you are coming through over here, because 11 is usually your number in tarot, which kind of belongs to the justice card. So you have the 8 of Pentacles, strength, and the Hierophant over here. I really think there is like a situation that is happening over here that kind of is ruled. Is it 11 on chat? So you see these 11s are very, very much kind of like showing through. It really talks about some kind of like consistency, something that has been built for quite a while. And I really think this is like where this 8 of Pentacles is coming through. 8 of Pentacles is like one of my lovely cards. I really actually like this card. And in the other decks, you're seeing somebody kind of like really focus oriented on kind of like fine details, just like here with the spider net. It's like this focus and concentration and building and rebuilding and repairing all the time. Somebody who is reinventing themselves. It's almost like that there was like some kind of like level of the expertise that have been accomplished, and now it is really time to maybe present it. Maybe you have been working on a project, guys, that can be this breakthrough project of your life. And this is really telling me about confidence. This is really telling me about, okay, I'm putting the last touches on it. And in these last touches, I really want to differentiate myself. Now I'm actually putting into this my personality. I am showing off in a sense, right? Because in this strength card, which kind of like has this beautiful infinity sign, is really talking about and mind you, this would be the number 8, just like this one, which kind of like talks about drawing on your own inner strength, on your endurance, on your persistence to kind of like go somewhere where you need to go. This is kind of approaching things with calmness and control, and kind of like rising above that beastly attitude, that kind of like bully attitude. Maybe this is why I had these issues with Libra yesterday, because these people are not ready to go yet, and not ready to kind of like face who they really are. So maybe they kind of like need to go for a few more spins. And then you're having this Hierophant, and it's kind of like really interesting because this is the card of Taurus. And you do share something with Taurus. You're sharing this Venus planet of beauty that actually is really coming through. So the Hierophant is physical embodiment of institution, right? So this is like, I mean, somebody who represents and interprets secret knowledge that is kind of like shared with, you know, this formal and rigid system. It has to be this way. The book says this. So this can be the law. This can be, you know, church. This can be, you know, relationships and rules that we agreed upon, right? So, but this is also a kind of like a card that is really good to get when seeking knowledge. It's kind of like, it's kind of guiding us to the solution because it has been tried and true, and I'm going to tell you how the story kind of goes through that. So this is really telling me about some kind of commitment and some kind of traditional kind of like things and spirituality. You guys are going to start feeling like, and this is the problem with Libra, sometimes you are having too many ideas, and then you get into this proverbial which way to go, which way kind of like to decide, indecision kind of like paralysis. But this is more telling, no, you're putting their foot down, you are looking in the direction of rebuilding something in your life or even yourself. But this is going to happen with the new sets of rules, and you're going to actually be following some kind of like really traditional way of doing that. Whatever this is, if this is a relationship, you want this relationship to end with a ring on your finger. If this is a job, you want this job to be solid and lasting and comfortable and like richly monetarily rewarding. you're going to kind of like say, no, I kind of like want to kind of like approach this with reservation, but I know in which direction I really need to get. I don't really need to clarify this, Libra, because that's a very wholesome week with two major arcanas. You are kind of like putting your teeth in a project. It might, however, I do have to tell you this, be a big bang. It could be something that is going to challenge you in this new project. So you have to stand strong in the situation and decide that, hey, you know, well, I don't know, maybe I haven't been building this properly all along, so I'm going to find this completely new way in going toward that. Hello, Sheila. Gemini Sun, Taurus Rising, and Scorpio Moon. You just missed all the three. So, happy birthday to Cancer. We are going to Cancer last. And happy birthday, Cancer. I was about to say you're not going to get your reading for the X series that I'm finishing, but you will, because I'm introducing new rules. For some reason, I had signs that had like 15,000 clicks. You only had 300. So if you don't care, if you find some other reader better fit, well then I shouldn't waste my time, right? So because it's your birthday, I'm going to squeeze this reading in both of the series. But now when everybody's introduced to the rules, going forward is going to be the way it is. The first top three, they get super duper deluxe reading, they get extra clarifiers, but the very last one doesn't even get the reading at all. So I think fair is fair. So Cancer, you have Three of Cups, you have Son of Cups, so you're feeling very romantic. When is this covering? Until the July the 5th. Oh my gosh, my ex is a Cancer, and I need to wish him happy birthday on July the 2nd. So this is going to be, look at this, you have a Son of Cups, you have a Daughter of Cups. Looks like everything will be going on your terms. I'm just not sure. We are going to clarify what this is. You have a Three of Cups. To me, this is the ultimate card of friendship, but it's also ultimate card of betrayal. That can mean, even though this is just the one card, so I don't know if I really want to read it in this situation. I would rather tell you this is more about indulgence over here, maybe overindulgence. Maybe there's like some kind of like disconnect. It's almost like, look at this, there is like still ugly duckling. We have this Daughter of Cups, right? But this ugly duckling is starting to form that swan, which you're going to see it fully developed in the Father and the Mother of Cups, right? So here they're in the stage of kind of confusion, and it's really indicating to me maybe heralding a new relationship if you guys are interested in this, or something new budding through, or it's a new start, it's a new beginning. It's this kind of like gentleness, but it is based on something that either one person or both people have. You know how they say we are just representing the tip of the iceberg. The other people have that stuff happening below, which you don't learn initially in a relationship, because you see all this kind of clean and beautiful and shiny parts, and all the rusty parts, and all this kind of turmoil that maybe have been buried somewhere else. But nonetheless, I don't think that this is going to be on the 4-4 of things that will be handled this week. It's going to be about understanding somebody, and you're going to meet somebody who maybe needs a little bit more confidence in themselves, but nonetheless is a very lovely person to be around. You're going to be all around in your all element. You're going to feel really great comfort. You're going to feel, hey, things are really working out for me, and everything is kind of like really working over here. Thanks, Andy, for being here, and have a wonderful weekend. So hey, Ladybug Sag, welcome. I really want to clarify this like Three of Cups, Cancer, and see what is this all about, because that can be just like simply something that kind of like can indicate your own fears. You know, sometimes you really wonder, hey, do I really want to go with this person, because this can just cause me more nerves. This is clearly going to be something that is going to make you feel good. It's going to be flirting. It's going to be assessment. Yeah, you're going to look. Conversation talks to me also that you're going to be surrounded with the people who are well-meaning, who are there for you. Clearly, you know all of that. So that can talk about a birthday party. But then you have the Scholar, which is reversed, and also you have Service, which is reversed. So I really think you're going to put kind of like, let caution go to the wind. I don't know if I kind of like use this proper English on this one. Kind of like, let's forget all this kind of like worries and let's just enjoy. And I really think this is a really good recipe in this particular situation, because you have to be able to trust a new person, and you trust them until you can, and you stop trusting them the moment when you can't or you don't want anymore. So it is really important to kind of like really take this in consideration, right? A service means that something or somebody doesn't serve you anymore. It's just like as simple as that, right? Where, you know, I don't know, like maybe maybe something didn't arrive. Maybe you were waiting for one person, another person appears. So this is maybe warning you, telling you, well, you know, you will go old and gray if you're waiting for somebody or something to kind of resolve. Maybe in the meantime, you kind of like really have to kind of like work on yourself and open yourself to the other people. This can also talk maybe that you had somebody unfaithful, as I told you, that kind of like love was really false, but then things are actually really looking up. When the Scholar kind of comes across is you are clearly defining certain things, that you maybe have been around people who have been kind of like, I don't know, rude or uncivilized or arrogant, and you definitely will shy away from any kind of like attitude like that, right? So this is, to me, telling me that right now, this week, you're taking it easy. You really want to have an attitude which is going to allow you to be the gentlest, the most loving, the most beautiful that you can be. You're going to be very shy and self-conscious, but just because you don't find that you are beautiful inside and out doesn't mean that other people don't find you this way. So stay in a company of supportive people, of helpful people, and things will going to really work out. And I really think that your new direction, where you're kind of like putting some people on the sidelines while letting other people in, it's a really good one. So kind of like continue with this, and I do wish you all the best for your birthday. So I would also like to read for you guys, but not if you have 300 clicks. That's lots of time spent for, you know, like, I mean, nothing. So thank you so much, guys. This is me, and we have a cloudy weather, overcast here in Toronto, which is good. It means it's not that hot when you're not sitting in the sun. So it is a time for tiger walk. I have to quietly say it, even though the eyes just perked out, and go into my long weekend, because it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday that we celebrate in Canada, and then you Americans are celebrating. That's why we have like next to nobody here, but it was really lovely time spending it with you. So I wish you guys all the best. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and just look out for monthlies that are really coming up, and hopefully over the weekend are going to be read if I catch some time from all these beautiful things that possibly the town will offer. So until the next time, guys, I wish you all the best. You know that I love you. Let me put some music, and then I'll talk to you soon, I guess. Thank you so much for everybody who has been here, and don't forget, I love you.
guys. Love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Happy Canada Day. Happy Independence Day. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.